She tried to hire a hitman to kill her husband's ex.
A former model.
She showed up dressed to kill during her trial.
Was the thinking, I'm too pretty to go to jail?
A murder plot.
I remember her words like it was yesterday, but she said she wished she could kill her and get away with it.
That is a bold-faced lie.
The secret recordings.
If we want to go all the way, then I want it to look like an accident.
Yeah.
I would be like the first suspect, I'm sure.
Now, in a Dr. Phil exclusive.
How did you go from being friends with Tara to her wanting you dead?
The victim speaks out.
She's one of my kids.
And to do it, she had to kill their mother. It's a story that made national headlines featuring a beautiful former model with a sinister plot. Tara Lambert says she wanted her husband's ex-girlfriend gone, so she hired a hitman to do the job.
Just put her in a chopper, like one of those lumberjack chopper things.
She even laughed as she told the hitman to put her rival's body in a wood chipper. What Tara didn't know was that the hitman wasn't a killer at all. He was an undercover police officer. And the whole thing was caught on tape in a sting you will not believe. Take a look.
Tara Lambert is a beautiful woman. The former fashion model who grew up in rural Ohio is a total knockout. But you know that old expression, if looks could kill? Prosecutors say that looker may have actually tried to.
Tonight, this Circleville woman is behind bars accused of trying to hire a hitman to kill her stepchildren's mother.
The Pickaway County Sheriff says the suspect paid a cash deposit to an undercover deputy posing as a hitman.
Tara was accused of hiring a hitman to kill her husband's ex-girlfriend, Kelly Cook. She allegedly set up the hit at a meeting in a parking lot, never realizing the hitman was an undercover detective.
Nice to meet you.
Hidden cameras captured what happened next.
What do you want done with her?
Just put her in a chopper, like one of those lumberjack chopper things.
I don't carry a lumberjack chopper. But...
No, I'm just kidding. Like, that's how much I hate her, though.
Court records reveal Lambert brought $125 as a down payment to have her husband's ex killed.
The judge says it all stems from a dispute over a visit with stepchildren.
Cops busted her 20 minutes later. Watch her shock when she was told the hitman was a cop and everything she'd said had been recorded.
What? Yes, they are recorded.
A former model from Circleville will spend 7 years in prison for trying to have her husband's ex-wife killed. Tara Lambert gave a tearful apology in court.
While the jury was told not to consider mercy, I hope that this court can consider it.
Her plea, though, fell on deaf ears, both by the judge and the victim's family.
During her first trial, Tara was painted in the media as a vixen with a vendetta. She showed up to court wearing tight dresses and high heels. The headlines read, "Dressed to Kill" and "Model Murderer." Take a look.
Did a jury turn against this woman when she stood trial for plotting a murder because she was too sexy?
Onlookers noticed she showed up dressed to kill during her trial.
5-inch stilettos, tight-fitting dresses, an eye-popping diamond ring, and a fancy-looking Apple Watch.
Then came an extraordinary twist. An appeals court overturned her conviction because of technical errors in the indictment. Tara Lambert was set free, and it will be many months before she can be retried.
Instead of facing a second trial, Tara pled guilty to conspiracy to commit aggravated murder. She was sentenced to 5 years, but the question remains, why did she want her husband Brandon's ex-girlfriend Kelly dead? Who is the real Tara Lambert? Is she a cold-blooded femme fatale, or was she set up by an old friend? Today, in an exclusive interview, Tara is speaking out for the first time since her sentencing, just 48 hours before she had to turn herself into prison. We'll also hear from Kelly and the woman who Tara asked to set up the hit later. Here's Tara's story. Did you want your best friend Kelly Cook dead?
No. No, I did not.
Tell me how this all started. You were married at the time this all happened, right?
Yes, to Brandon Lambert.
Okay. You had children.
He had 2 girls with Kelly, so
Right.
I had 2 stepdaughters.
Your relationship with Kelly, initially, you were really good friends.
Very. When Brandon and I first started dating, it's kind of like the 2 girls that
Right.
you're not supposed to like each other kind of thing. But we became close, yes. I even was present for the births of her last 2 children. But we did have to hide our friendship a lot from Brandon.
So the woman that you've done time for conspiring to have murdered, you were actually in the delivery room when her children were born. You were that close to her.
Yes. She actually told the hospital staff that I was her sister so that I could be in there.
That's a long way to fall
Absolutely.
from being in the delivery room to wanting to have her killed.
Yes.
You were her best friend.
Yes, we were very, very close.
Would you consider her one of your best friends at the time? At the time.
At the time, best
Yeah.
friends, still not best friends. No, I mean,
Well,
we didn't
but
do
you-
everything together, but we did. We told each other a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So she was a confidant. You talked to her, she talked to you. Did it bother you that she was attractive, that she was a model, that she was all of this? Was that difficult to deal with?
No, she wasn't a model.
What was she if she wasn't a model?
No, I know she's had pictures taken. So have I. I'm not a model. I don't know if she tried too hard or whatever, but sometimes like she would show up at events with the kids and inappropriate dresses.
Yeah.
So that made her unattractive to me.
I find it really odd that you and Kelly had a relationship that was healthy and you have to hide it from Brandon.
He hated her so bad
Why did he hate her so badly?
because she took him for child support. She would not let him have them throughout the week. He would say, if you would have beat her ass, if you would have beat her up years ago, we wouldn't have this issue. She would know not to be messing with me.
So if you had beat her ass, she wouldn't be messing around like this.
She wouldn't be pissing him off.
Then why isn't he conspiring to have her murdered instead of you? How did it wind up you instead of him?
I was tired of hearing about it. He was always blaming me for her taking him to court.
So you and Kelly are sharing the children, your positive influences in their life. He and Kelly are having confrontation, but when did it turn to you and Kelly having problems?
Brandon and his mom had a major falling out. His mother decided to go see Kelly so that she could see the girls and got Kelly very upset. And Kelly texts Brandon that she never wanted to talk to me again and that if he needed to talk to the girls that he now needed to go through her. So this all led to new legal issues.
So you feel like she turned on you first?
Yes.
She betrayed you?
Yes, without asking me or telling me about this conversation with Brandon's mother.
Did you call Kelly and say, hey, wait, this isn't right?
I tried to talk to her and then she tried to file for harassment.
From
So,
you?
Yes.
She says that Brandon absolutely hated you.
Oh.
Absolutely hated you. Is that true?
I would say he did because I probably absolutely hated him from the stuff that she told me he said, just like she told him stuff I said that neither one of us said.
So you think both of you got played?
Oh yeah, she's
On both ends.
Yeah,
I mean,
she
obviously
manipulated us.
you did have problems because you split up, but
Right.
you think she threw gas on the fire
Oh yeah,
and kept things inflamed
definitely.
and would tell you things about him or things that he had said or done, and you think she was telling him things
Right, that wasn't true.
that she was making up about you and things that you were doing.
Correct.
Okay. I guess the big question in my mind, and I guess the mind of a lot of people, is how did you go from being best friends with Tara to her wanting you dead?
Coming up.
Your husband, he's staying arm's length from this. He doesn't want to know the details.
That's what prompted him to say, I don't even want to know the details, just take care of this bitch.
and later.
The bottom line is, if we're only going to hurt her, then I want her to be hurt, like, more permanent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, disabled.
When you say disabled, what do you mean?
Wednesday on an all-new Dr. Phil.
My son and daughter-in-law parent drunk.
They are severe alcoholics.
They drive intoxicated. She's urinated on herself in front of the daughter.
We are great parents.
Freaking awesome parents.
And their binging is getting worse.
She is with your parents. What's more important than calling your daughter?
Drinking.
Not only do they have the right to take your child, they have the responsibility to take your child.
All new season of Dr. Phil. That's Wednesday. We now return to the model, the hitman, and the victim.
The big question in my mind, and I guess the mind of a lot of people, is how did you go from being best friends with Tara to her wanting you dead?
I think she wanted my kids.
She wanted your kids.
I believe so.
You think she had gotten so involved and engaged with your children that she actually wanted them? She wanted to take them from you?
She would call them her girls. She would make them call her mom out in public. She couldn't have kids at the time.
Now, you and Tara had a falling out, right? And this was all about, she told the kids that Brandon's parents, the children's grandparents, did not want to have anything to do with them anymore, didn't want to see them.
Correct.
Well, they must have been devastated.
They were really close to her.
I mean,
they
that's
didn't see her for 2-3 years.
Why would she do that? What's the gain? What does she get out of that?
She just wanted all the control. She didn't want me talking to his mom. She didn't want me talking to anybody because I started seeing what she was doing, controlling every single thing my kids do.
Your thought is she was just trying to isolate. So burn that bridge so she has you isolated, has the kids isolated, so she can now work on you herself. That's your theory.
That's what I believe.
You got to get them out of the picture. Okay, now I've got them all here where I can start manipulating.
Right.
She was emailing you pretending to be Brandon, right? Mm-hmm. What kind of things would she say?
She would just basically say, sometimes I was a worthless mother, that I don't know how to raise my kids. Anything she could say to put me down.
I'm trying to get the sequence of the emotional curve here. At some point, you're best friends. You're sharing the girls. It falls apart because mom gets involved. You feel like she's turned on you and assumed a bunch of things that aren't true.
Yes.
Does it go from that to, I want this friend of mine to go scare the crap out of her?
Basically.
But isn't that a big leap?
I was working a full-time job. I was running my own business, and I'm driving all over the place. And then I'm listening to Brandon in my ear every night when I'm at home, telling me how he got new court papers or another call from the lawyer, and it was just nonstop. So through the stress, lack of sleep, the money was coming out of my pocket for all of the court and legal issues.
And your husband, he's staying at arm's length from this.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to know the details.
Those are his exact words to me.
Did he know you were up to something?
Yes.
Did he know it was going to be physical?
He had hoped.
He hoped it was
and I think he did assume, yes. That's what prompted him to say, I don't even want to know the details. Just take care of this bitch.
She says that Brandon was constantly after her to deal with you. That, look, this is a problem. She's harassing us. She's doing this. You need to deal with this. You need to deal with her. You need to take care of this. And that implied in that message was, do whatever it takes. I don't care. No. Don't want to know, don't care. You just do whatever it takes. Get her off my back. Do you believe that?
Not in the way that she put it, no. I mean, I could see him saying that just because he didn't want to deal with, I mean, he had it easy. He didn't have to be home to get the kids. He didn't, you know what I mean? He didn't have the responsibility of that because she took that responsibility. But to put it in that sense, I don't believe it was that way. I don't believe he meant it that way if he did say it that way.
Now, we did talk to Brandon, and he said, absolutely, unequivocally, not even close call, did not know that she was out hiring a hitman to kill you. So he denies it fully. You're aware that she has said that she just got pushed to the limit by your harassing of her, of Brandon, of dragging into court. You don't buy any of that. You think this boils down to she wanted your children, and to do it, she had to kill their mother. We reached out to Tara's ex-husband, Brandon Lambert. He denies that he knew anything about Tara's murder for hire plot, and adamantly denies he ever asked Tara to have Kelly beaten up or threatened.
Coming up, the high school friend that Tara called to arrange the hit speaks out.
When Kelly picked up the phone, I told her if she didn't leave Tara alone, I was going to curb stomp her face.
17 seasons, thousands of guests. Get ready for a September to remember.
Season 17!
Explosive.
My son and daughter-in-law parent drunk.
We are great parents.
Freaking awesome parents.
Not only do they have the right to take your child, they have the responsibility to take your child.
Dramatic.
I'm a prisoner in my home.
I'm frightened of my own sons.
I have one bat right there, one there to defend myself.
And you wrote a book about
success and happiness.
What chapter listed baseball bats for being happy?
Extreme.
Former cheerleader Victoria has some serious anger issues.
When I'm mad, I lose all control of myself.
She's punched me, she's kicked me, she's scratched me. She's giving me black eyes.
You got scratches on your neck, you got scratches on your back. Frankly, I don't care. What I care is that you guys are getting physical on a regular basis, and that's dangerous.
Real issues.
Some of the statements you've made. I should have aborted you. Stupid hillbilly. Drop dead. You should have been sucked out of my belly. I hope nothing but severe depression and heartache for you. This is your daughter.
Real people.
I wish that I could do something to have her in my life. I wanted to grow old with her.
Okay, hold on. Stop. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. You are being inappropriate, and I am not going to have you here mocking this situation. You threaten your wife's life? What the hell's the matter with you?
Real solutions.
Is it time to quit, or is it time to try and fix this? Help has begun.
We now return to the model, the hitman, and the victim.
Tara was no fan of her new husband's old wife, and for whatever reason, she wanted her out of the picture. They laid out the case against her. In search of a hitman, Tara looked up a long-lost friend, but that long-lost friend was more long-lost than friend.
At one point, you contacted this friend from high school, right?
I contacted my friend Linda, and I told her that I was having these issues. These people were driving by my house at this point, like honking, throwing stuff in my yard. I believed that it was Kelly, and she was the one that approached Jenny about this.
So you talked to your friend Linda.
Linda.
Why Jenny? Was she like some kind of badass in high school?
Yeah, she's pretty rough.
The woman behind that threatening phone call is here. You know her now. You know now who she is. She is the one who eventually set Tara up by going to the police. If it were not for her, you might not be sitting here with me today. So I'd like to add her to this conversation. Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's bring Jenny in, please. Jenny, Dr. Phil, how are you? Have a seat. Okay. You got a call from Linda.
Yeah.
Did you know Tara?
Yeah, we went to school together.
Were you surprised when she popped up out of the blue here and was reaching out to you?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But why you?
At the time, I guess she knew that I would make the prank call for her.
Did you have a reputation in high school of being a badass?
Fighting. Yes, I did.
You were a fighter?
Yeah, I actually got into a fist fight one time over Tara.
Over Tara?
Yeah, but this was like, I want to say 1999, 2000.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What was it about?
She claimed somebody was messing with her and harassing her and asked if I would confront this person for her. And I agreed to. You know, I confronted them, like, leave her alone. And the girl actually became confrontational with me, and we ended up getting into a fist fight.
Okay. So you weren't big friends.
No.
But yet she came to you as her champion in high school and used you as muscle.
Well, I wasn't the only one. You know, she tried to recruit anyone she could to do it for her, but I was just the immature one at the time that let her manipulate me into doing it.
Were you tough?
Yes.
Did you win your fights?
Never lost one.
That girl leave her alone after that?
Yes.
So she was 1-0
Yes.
in using you, okay? So when she asked you to make this phone call, and you call it a prank call, police could call it a terroristic threat.
Yeah.
But you made the call, and you said some pretty horrific things, right?
Yes, I did.
What did you say?
I know when Kelly picked up the phone, I just immediately started yelling at her. Told her that if she didn't stop, that she was going to have problems, and that I was gonna find her and fight her, and if she didn't leave Tara alone, I was gonna curb stomp her face. I actually told her she wouldn't walk away. She would be in the hospital with a feeding tube.
And her kids wouldn't be able to recognize her?
Yes.
Okay. Now that was in 2015. That's 16 years later, and she still is able to get you to call somebody and threaten their health, safety, and well-being.
Yeah.
Did she offer you money?
No. No. When I talked to her after the fact, you know, because I told her, I said, you realize I'm not going to touch this woman, right? And she's like, yeah, you know, it's just a prank phone call. Like, I just want her, you know, to stop messing with me, and maybe if she gets some calls like that, she'll leave me alone.
Uh-huh.
So.
Did you think at all about, yeah, I'm calling somebody's mother and threatening her?
Coming up.
Right before we hung up the phone, I remember her words like it was yesterday, but she said that she wished that she could kill Kelly and just legally get away with it.
Thursday on an all-new Dr. Phil. Was Natalie Wood murdered?
Police now believe this was foul play.
Decades after his wife's death, Robert Wagner maintains his innocence.
Why do you think he's not talking to the police?
He has something to hide.
Shocking accusations from Natalie's sister.
Are you suggesting that he knocked her out and threw her in the water?
Something like that, absolutely.
All new season of Dr. Phil. That's Thursday. We now return to the model, the hitman, and the victim.
Jenny was proud to tell me what she said to Kelly on the phone.
Which was?
You need to leave Tara and Brandon alone. You've taken things too far. You don't want to mess with me. And if you don't stop, something about feeding her to hogs, breaking her legs.
So she calls you and tells you, regales you with the tales of what she said to her.
She's very excited.
What did she say Kelly said?
She said that she was trembling in her voice, asked who it was, and then hung up. And then immediately there was a police report about it.
So they immediately called the police.
Yes.
Did you think at all about, I'm calling somebody's mother and threatening her?
No. At the time, I don't know what I was thinking.
But why you?
I guess at the time, I guess she knew that I would make the prank call for her, I guess.
You did receive a threatening phone call.
I did.
Did you take it seriously?
Yeah, definitely did.
You thought this is real. I mean, she's actually gotten somebody that is threatening me, and they could follow through on this.
Right.
That Tara is capable of getting someone to actually physically assault me.
Correct.
So what did you do?
I went and picked a friend of mine up, and we went straight down to the sheriff department to file a police report.
So you went straight to the law
I
and
did,
said,
and called my attorney and
here's
filled
what
her in
happened.
also.
Were you scared?
At first I was pissed.
Right.
But yeah, after I hung up the phone I was. Because She said she was out at my house watching me the night before, and I actually told my husband that I thought someone was outside. So then the next day, I got that phone call, and she said, so yeah, I was scared.
Okay. So after you got the call, you piece all this together, you think, good grief, I mean, somebody really is maybe stalking me here. Who told her the nature of what the phone contact needed to be?
Me,
You.
yes.
You said, I want to intimidate her.
Yes, I want to scare her. I'm tired of going to court, tired of hearing my husband's mouth. It's got to stop.
Well, you said more than stop. Did you tell her to threaten her?
I just said whatever needs to be said to make her leave us alone.
So they immediately called the police.
Yes.
Said, we've been threatened. So now Jenny finds out that she's not intimidated, that she called the police and that she's reported it. Jenny is pretty graphic about how she was going to leave her, right?
Mm-hmm.
What'd she say?
She was going to break bones, legs specifically, and make her wish that she was dead.
I think she said she was going to beat her so bad her children wouldn't recognize her.
Yes, that
She'd
was a
be on a
comment.
feeding tube in a hospital.
She said that during her phone call, yes.
I believe I called her back and told her, you know, hey, I just got off the phone with Kelly. And she was asking me, you know, laughing, like, was she scared? You know, what did she say? Right before we hung up the phone, I remember her words like it was yesterday because I remember thinking how stupid it sounded. But she said that she wished that she could kill Kelly and just legally get away with it.
Coming up.
That first text that I sent her read, do you know anyone hard up for cash that can take care of our problem?
Define take care of.
I wanted someone to beat her up. I wanted her to see that it wasn't a joke.
Wednesday on an all-new Dr. Phil.
My son and daughter-in-law parent drunk.
They are severe alcoholics.
They drive intoxicated. She's urinated on herself in front of the daughter.
We are great parents.
Freaking awesome parents.
And their binging is getting worse.
She is with your parents. What's more important than calling your daughter?
Drinking.
Not only do they have the right to take your child, they have the responsibility to take your child.
All new season of Dr. Phil. That's Wednesday. We now return to the model, the hitman, and the victim.
Jenny testified that you said, and I quote, if I could get away with it, I'd murder that woman.
She said that on the stand, and I immediately told my then attorney that I could prove that there was no phone calls at that point ever between she and I for me to have ever made that remark to her. That is a bold-faced lie. I never said anything of the sort.
I remember her words like it was yesterday because I remember thinking how stupid it sounded. But she said that she wished that she could kill Kelly and just legally get away with it. That she wished that there was some way that she could kill her and not legally be responsible for it.
At that point, did that take this to another level with
Absolutely.
you? Did you think this woman is
nuts.
really unhinged here?
Yeah.
What happened that caused you to go to the police?
I got a text message over Facebook, and she asked me if I knew anyone hard up for cash that could take care of our problem for good.
And Tara denies saying that to you.
No, she said it.
Yeah, well,
Absolutely, she said it. So my mind immediately went to the conversation that I had with her before we hung up about her wanting to kill her, but legally get away with it.
Yeah.
So that was when I had contacted police.
And it bothered you that this was now being referred to as our problem.
Exactly.
We're in this together.
Exactly.
Then Jenny kept calling me. What do you want to do? What do you want to do? I have a friend. He wants to meet with you. He's going to take care of this. But that first text that I sent her after things didn't stop from her initial phone call read something in the lines of, do you know anyone hard up for cash that can take care of our problem? When I said that, I really thought she was going to say, me? Yeah, remember I talked to you about it. Yeah, this is how much I want for it. I'll go do what I told you that I would do if she didn't stop after that phone call.
Define take care of.
I wanted someone to beat her up. I wanted her to see that it wasn't a joke, you know.
So you thought at that point she would go over there and just beat the crap out of her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now she recorded you on the phone, right?
The detectives were, yeah.
Yeah.
If we want to go all the way, then I want it to look like an accident, obviously, because of what I've gone through with her.
Yeah.
I would be like the first suspect, I'm sure.
He wants to know how much you'll pay him.
Like, what do you think is a good amount per day?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, you know, it just depends on what you're wanting done.
Oh, obviously, yeah. I mean, the bottom line is, if we're only going to hurt her, then I want her to be hurt, like, more permanent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
disabled.
Okay.
We had just been talking about hurting her so bad that she'd be disabled. That was our all the way.
When you say disabled, what do you mean?
Broken bone, I mean, I don't know.
Broken bone's not disabled. Bone's healed and you walk off. Did you want her
Whether-
paralyzed? Did you want her brain dead? Did you want her what? What do you mean disabled?
Coming up.
Tara claims that this was entrapment, that this was a setup. You're saying, look, if you can't talk her out of it, then you want her dead. Let's get somebody to put a hit on her. Let's get somebody to kill her. Today's show is almost over, but we are hard at work on tomorrow's show and beyond. And we are always looking for great guests. If you have a problem you think only I can solve, I want to hear from you. Make sure to log on to Dr. Phil and click Be on the Show or text Phil to 88500. Hey, we are taping season 17 of Dr. Phil. But wait a minute, something's missing. Oh, it's you. We need an audience. So if you're going to be in the Los Angeles area and want to watch a live taping, visit drphil.com and click Be in the Audience. Tickets are free, and I hope to see you soon. Come on, I'm all by myself.
We now return to a Dr. Phil exclusive.
If we want to go all the way, then I want it to look like an accident, obviously, because of what I've gone through with her.
Yeah.
I would be like the first suspect, I'm sure.
He wants to know how much you'll pay him.
Like, what do you think is a good amount per day?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, you know, it just depends on what you're wanting done.
Oh, obviously, yeah. I mean, the bottom line is, if we're only going to hurt her, then I want her to be hurt, like, more permanent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
disabled.
Okay.
When you say disabled, what do you mean?
Broken bone, I mean, I don't know.
Did you want her paralyzed? Did you want her brain dead? Did you want her what?
I remember thinking that I wanted her unable to speak, which is horrible. It was a suggestion of permanent damage.
Right. You say you want it to look like an accident, and you say you wanted her disabled. So we're talking serious here. It wasn't like just go down there and slap her around a little bit and say back
Right.
off. You're talking about permanent disability.
At a point, yes. That's what was going through my head.
Tell me again, because she had done what?
Because she immediately turned on me without discussing anything, without finding out if what she had heard was true. She was keeping the kids from us. She's now texting Brandon and having him screaming at me. It was every month. She was going back to court for something. Plus I'm working, not sleeping. I was in a place I've never been and just out of my mind. And I know that I was also trying to like please Jenny almost keep her on my side, like say almost what she wants to hear at that point still.
So how many times did she call you to set this meeting up?
There were 5 total phone calls recorded.
How many missed phone calls? 3,
Over
4?
a dozen.
A dozen times?
Over a dozen.
So she's pursuing you here?
Over and over, yes. I was getting annoyed with her as well.
Well, I just left my buddy's house probably about a half hour ago.
Yeah?
He's wanting to know if you want to meet tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, I can totally do that. I'm gonna, like, have it in my car just thinking about it.
Oh, yeah.
I hate her so bad. I've never hated someone this bad.
Tara claims that it was you who kept pushing the idea of a hitman.
Absolutely not. No.
She was saying that wasn't her idea, that was your idea. You were saying,
No.
look, if you can't talk her out of it, then you want her dead, let's get somebody to put a hit on her. Let's get somebody to kill her.
Absolutely not.
She was saying that, insinuating that this was entrapment, that this was a setup, that you went to the police and that you were then telling her, hey, you need to get somebody to kill her, so that this was all a big puppeteer game here to get her caught up in this whole thing.
No. The detectives showed up at my house. I told them that I was hoping and praying to God that when she answered the phone, that she didn't want anything to happen, that she was just mad and angry, and that was not the case.
Tara says that you told her that once this ball starts rolling, there's no stopping it. That if you back out, this hitman will kill you.
Coming up.
I can honestly tell you I was never thinking about her dead.
You want me to just walk up and cap her?
What do you think?
Shoot her in the grill?
I can go with you on the point that you didn't really actually think this was going to happen.
Right.
I can't go with you on the point that you don't think you were talking about having somebody killed. That it was all a fiction fantasy to you at that point. You know you were talking about murdering two people, yes or no?
Thursday on an all-new Dr. Phil. Was Natalie Wood's death
They were fighting. You could hear things being thrown around the stateroom.
an accident?
Robert Wagner has denied that he had anything to do with his wife's death.
The boat's captain speaks out.
Wagner is telling us we have to get our story straight. I said, we need to call for help. He said, no, we're not going to do that.
You believe Robert Wagner murdered Natalie Wood?
I really do.
All new season of Dr. Phil. That's Thursday.
Want to know what's coming up on Dr. Phil? Visit our website and subscribe to our email newsletter. You'll get weekly updates, life strategies, and exclusive video that you won't find anywhere else.
Plus, on drphil.com, you can see sneak previews of upcoming shows. Log on today.
Tara says that you told her that once this ball starts rolling, there's no stopping it. That if you back out, this hitman will kill you.
I never said anything like that. In any contact I had with Tara, from the day that she sent me the message in July, there was always a law enforcement officer there. Always. I never had any contact, any text messages, any phone calls, anything without law enforcement right beside me.
So there's no way you could have said that without...
I never said that.
There's no phone record indicating you talked to her other than
No.
with the police there?
Nope.
And when you were there with the police, they never heard you say, you better stick with it or you're going to get killed yourself.
I never said that. Never said that.
You had numerous opportunities to reconsider this and come to your senses, but you stayed the course.
Until the day of the meeting. Yes.
There's surveillance footage. Let's take a look at it and see what was going on at that moment.
I hate her.
I mean, what do you want done with her?
I don't know. Whatever you...
You want me to just walk up and cap her?
What do you think?
I'll just walk straight up, shoot her in the grill. You said the dude is gone all the time.
He can go too if he wants. If he starts trouble or if he ends up being there.
So if he's there, you want him to go too?
Yeah, I mean... I really don't mind.
Are you lying to yourself about what you wanted then? Did you really want them dead in the moment?
No. At that whole breaking point where I really wanted her hurt severely, I can honestly tell you I was never thinking about her dead.
So you did seriously want her disabled, impaired to the point that she couldn't function. You own that.
I do.
But you question whether you ever really wanted her dead.
Right. It never was my thought. It was never originated from my mind at all. Those suggestions were from them. And then it was just from there.
I can go with you on the point that you didn't really actually think this was going to happen.
Right.
I can't go with you on the point that you don't think you were talking about having somebody killed. That it was all a fiction fantasy to you at that point, that you thought you could abort because you had time to do it. You know you were talking about murdering 2 people, yes or no? Well, we've run out of time for today. Tomorrow, with a plan set and a cash deposit paid, Tara left the car that day thinking she had given blood money to a hitman and that Kelly would soon be dead. What she didn't know was that the hitman was an undercover cop, and that the plan she had set in motion wasn't going to rid her of her rival. It was going to land her behind bars. You don't want to miss it.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, inside the undercover sting.
Just put her on this lumberjack chopper thing.
It's victim.
She's one of the most evil people I've ever met.
Versus vixen.
I wanted her unable to speak, permanent damage.
You don't put disabled people in a wood chopper.
I'm extremely sorry to them.
She's sorry she got caught.
How does it feel to hear her giggling about having you fed into a wood chipper?
I was expecting to be tortured. Eyelids ripped off, fingernails ripped off.
Will Tara confess?
I'm asking you to come clean now.
That's tomorrow.
Will Tara finally admit the truth? Did she really want Kelly dead? You'll be shocked by her breakthrough. That's tomorrow. You do not want to miss it. Thanks for watching.